Welcome everyone to another one of my splits flexibility flows. This flow is about 30 minutes long, incorporating some more hip isolation movements, dynamic movements to get your body nice and warm and ready to sink into some deeper stretches, working towards your front splits and your middle splits. If you don't have your splits now, no need to be worried. That's what we're all working towards here. However, if you are a beginner at yoga or new to working flexibility, I would recommend some of my other more beginner-friendly videos to you. Let's go ahead and find a seated position on our heels. Begin to open the chest forward and round back, bringing this movement into the hips as well. So inhale, open forward, pull the shoulder blades together, press the pelvis under and back. And as you exhale, pull the pelvis towards you, tuck under, and continue here. Next time you're forward, hold there. Take a little back bend by clasping your hands behind your back. Draw your hands to your hips as you begin to find a circular motion with your upper body and isolating more deeply into the hips. So pressing your hips over to the left, to the back, to the right, and tucking under for center. Continue this movement, moving at your own pace with your own breath. Inhaling as your chest comes forward and exhaling as your chest goes back. Switch directions. Go ahead and hold in center here. Then begin to isolate the movement even more. I've turned myself to face the camera so you can see a little bit what's going on here. See if you can keep your upper body in the same position and move your hips. Switch directions if you haven't already. Next inhale brings you up high on your knees. Go ahead and shake out your hips a little left and right. Press into your left side. And press into your right side. We'll begin to draw a big circle over to the right, sitting your hips back towards your heels and up to the left. And switch directions. Really pressing into each edge of the circle here. Gently release to seated on your heels. Take your knees a little wider as your big toes stay to touch. Lower yourself so your forearms are on the ground, sinking back towards a child's pose with your hips as you rock out left to right, slowly working your knees a little wider and your hips a little closer towards your mat. Begin to find some stillness here as you melt towards your mat. Allow your forehead to come down. Begin to lift back to your forearms, rocking left and right, working your way deep into each hip, opening the muscles of the inner thigh. And lower yourself down once more, drawing your chest a little closer towards the mat. Gently make your way all the way to all fours, shoulders aligned over the wrists and hips over the knees. We'll bring some movement to our spine here by dipping into the elbows, pressing your hips high, and exhale, rounding through your upper back. Inhale, look up, bend your elbows, and exhale, round your upper back. Inhale and exhale, flow through this movement at your own time with your own breath. Pull your left knee tight into your chest and begin to draw a big circle, building some heat in your left hip. Inhale, tuck into chest, and exhale, draw a big circle up and around, back and down. Continue here on this side. And release the left knee towards the floor. Tuck your right knee into chest and draw the big circles on this side. One more circle and return to center. Inhale, look up, and exhale, round at your back. Inhale up and exhale, round. Couple more here. And go ahead and tuck your toes, send your hips high for downward facing dog. Walk out your hands and feet to a comfortable distance. Walk your legs out a little bit, working into the hamstrings. You can bend into one knee and hold a little longer. And bend into the other side. Switch again. And switch. Return to center. Next, inhale, lift up high on your toes, heels lift. Exhale, heels come down a little closer. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Take a couple more here, moving with your own breath, inhaling as you lift up and exhaling as you lower a little closer towards the floor. And gently walk your feet all the way up to meet your hands at the top of your mat. Grab opposite elbows and allow your upper body to hang long. Release any tension you're holding on to in your upper body, your shoulders, your neck, your upper back. If it feels good to wiggle out side to side, do that. Find some stillness and allow your hands to drop towards the mat. As you inhale, bring your back as flat as possible while having the biggest stretch in your hamstrings. So inhale, lift up flat back, and exhale, fold, pull yourself a little closer. Inhale, flat back, and fold. Inhale, flat back, and fold. Step your feet back for your downward facing dog. And similar movement to what we did on all fours. The left knee will come in towards your chest and draw a big circle up and out, opening up that hip. I'll let you guys move to your own breath here, your own rhythm. As you come forward, if you want a little more core work, bring your shoulders more so over your wrists. And next time that knee comes forward, step the foot up in between the hands, left leg forward, right leg back. As you exhale, straighten out through the left knee. And inhale, bend. Straighten. And bend. Straighten. And bend. Straighten. Bend. And that back knee will come all the way down. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in, hands in the heart center, and release them to the top of your left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, see how much you can press your weight into your right hip flexor. Breathe deeply, allow your body to slowly sink here. See if you can lift up high on the ball of your left foot. Lift that heel. A little balance challenge. And set it down. Lift it up. And set it down. You can take a couple more of those. Eventually lean forward. Take your left palm to the inside of your left knee and open it up a little. Back to the midline and exhale back to your hamstring stretch. So it comes inhale forward, exhale open that front knee, pull the knee back to your midline and exhale stretch out the hamstrings, shoot the hips back. Inhale forward, exhale open the hip, back to the midline and exhale back, hamstring stretch. Continue here on this side with this little flow. Lunging forward, opening the hip and sending your hips back, stretching out your left hamstring. Next time you're forward, go ahead and hold there. Take your hands to the inside and toe heel your left foot out to the edge of your mat. Begin to lift and lower your back knee from the floor. Every time you lift, try to keep your hips as low as possible. We're really activating the stretch into the hip flexor now. So lift up and drop the knee. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. Lift and hold here. Drop the knee all the way down. Toe heel your foot back to the midline of your body. Rock your hips back and begin to sink your hips all the way down to sitting on your right heel. Sink into the hamstring stretch here. If taking any little wiggling motions feels good to you, that's an option. For those of you who would like a little challenge, feel free to pause the video and watch first, or flow along with me as we make our way to sundial pose. We'll be sitting all the way up, and bring your hips all the way to the floor here. So you might want to walk your right heel a little more in front of you. Take your left foot or your left ankle in your right hand and begin to turn towards your right side. Eventually, the goal of this posture is to get the left leg to come behind the shoulder and behind the head. So I'll show a couple hand variations here. Again, feel free to pause the video, have a little fun with it. The more you can get your knee up and behind your shoulder, the easier it will be for you. And when you're ready, we'll go ahead and start those stretches on the other side, finding your down dog, taking those big circles with your right knee now. And gently step your foot all the way up in between your hands. Hold your low lunge here, and as you exhale, begin to straighten your front leg. Bend. And straighten. Bend. Straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, and drop the back knee all the way down. Reach your hands up tall. Exhale through heart center and bring your hands to the top of your right thigh. Allow your breath to sink you deeper into the stretch. Use gravity to your advantage here. Get deep into your left hip flexor. If you lifted and lowered your heel on your left side, go ahead and take a couple on this side. Work your balance. And gently bring your hands to the floor. Toe heel your right foot a little more out to the right. Take your right palm to the inside of your right knee and open up your hips just a little. And exhale, send it back. Lean forward, open the hips. Back to the midline and shoot them back. Couple more here. Move with your own breath. You already know the movement from the other side, so let you guys go here. Take about 2 more cycles here and then meet in the forward motion of the lunge. Bring your hands to the inside of your right ankle, aligned under your shoulders, and begin to lift and lower that back knee, lifting up and lowering all the way to your mat. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Lift, lower, and sink your hips back towards your heels, all the way down to the floor, sitting on your bent left leg. Go ahead and fold over your right leg for an extended hamstring stretch here. Continue breathing deeply here. And if you would like to attempt sundial pose on this side, begin to pull your right leg up towards you. And we'll start to find a twist. So you'll have to bring your opposite hand to your foot. The left hand comes the outside of the right foot or the ankle. And begin to open your chest, spin it towards that opposite wall. Gently release out of your sundial pose. Find your way through your hamstring stretch and eventually back to downward facing dog. Step your feet all the way up to meet your hands, forward fold. And we'll begin to lower hips all the way towards the heels as close as they can go. Bring your hands to the insides of your knees and begin to toe heel your feet out wide, toes pointed slightly out, diagonal to the edges of your mat or the corners of a room. Hands come to heart center and use your elbows to open your knees as you sink into yogi squat. Begin to bring your hands behind you, release your hips towards the floor and extend your legs long in front of you. We'll be coming into a forward fold seated on the ground. So inhale, reach both arms up tall, deep breath in, lean over with a flat back, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale, fold forward. Lift your chest, and fold forward. Gently begin to release out of your forward fold. Sit up tall and we'll begin to work towards our front splits on both sides. So right leg stays forward, the left knee bends, and still keeping the thighs relatively close towards one another. Lift the chest and exhale, lean forward. Gently release all the way up to seated tall and push the left leg back just a little more. And exhale, fold over your right leg once again. Gently lift up, walk your left foot back just a little more and fall forward. Lift your chest. Now it's time to work towards splits. So as you lift up, press through your hands. Square your hips as much as you can towards the front of the room or the floor, whatever you want to aim for. And as you exhale, allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper into your front splits. Take your time here. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to sink into your splits. Always feel free to pause the video and take a little more time stretching. I'll show some variations on screen. For this one, I'm twisting over to the left side and rolling my hips forward and back to work a little bit of a different angle so that when I square my hips off towards center, it becomes more comfortable. And begin to make your way out of your front split by sitting into your right hip and swinging your left leg over forward. Shake out both legs. And we'll begin to start stretching on the other side. So bend your right knee, sit up nice and tall, and exhale, fold over forward. Remember that we will be lifting up simultaneously and pushing the right knee back. So start with it in close enough that you have enough room to push it back about 3 times. Lift up and push your right knee back a little more. Fold forward over your left leg. Lift up, slide your right knee back just a little more, and exhale, fold over forward. Return to center, lift up enough to square your hips off towards the floor, and begin to work your splits on this side. Take your time to lower into them. Make sure you're breathing, never pushing to a point of pain, just slight discomfort here. I'll continue to show some variations on screen if you'd like to try them, or pause the video and stretch a little more on your own. Begin to make your way out of your split. Sit into your left hip and swing your right leg over forward. Go ahead and shake out your legs a little bit. Scoot your hips forward, lay all the way down on your back, and come into a butterfly stretch. Soles of the feet towards one another, knees wide. Take any movements here that allow you to open up your hips a little wider and sink into those muscles of the inner thigh. Allow the soles of your feet to drift a little further from each other, your knees to drift a little wider as you find your way towards a happy baby pose, feet up towards the ceiling. If it feels good to extend one leg to one side, then the other to the other side, do that, or take any variations of happy baby that you know and love here. Go ahead and bring your hands back to your ankles. Allow your knees to fall wide apart. Eventually, soles of the feet come together all the way down to the floor as the knees fall wide. Deepen your breathing here. Thank your body for all the hard work you just put in on your mat. And I want to thank you all for flowing with me today and providing me with all your beautiful love and support. Namaste.